Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Yes, this is the Female Solution. Good evening. And we are so excited tonight because we're introducing a brand new, fabulous new host, Yu'NiYah E. And she'll be coming to you live every Monday at 7 p.m., the second and fourth Monday of every month. You know, of course, you hear Heather the first and third Monday. Now we've got the second and fourth Monday covered with Yu'NiYah E and her new show, Mercy Seat. Welcome to the Female Solution Global Radio TV show, Yu'NiYah E.
Well, thank you so very much in allowing me to have this opportunity, Naima. This is really, truly a fabulous, awesome opportunity to be able to come to people and share the things that you're allowing me to share on my show. I'm excited. I really am excited. I'm looking forward to it. Yes.
Well, I'm excited as well, especially because you're doing some really wonderful work. And if you didn't see Asada's show the other week, last week, you need to go back in the archives and you can go to the Female Solution on Facebook and scroll on down and see the show featuring Yu'NiYah E, who is not only an accomplished playwright and author, but she is a spiritual healer, someone who's going to be bringing some wisdom and inspiration every second and fourth Monday right here on the Female Solution. So we're grateful that you're joining our team and bringing your profound insights. So now tell us about this work here, Prayer and Poems.
Wow, prayer and poems is an inspirational time for individuals. For 12 days, you have different women who are going to be doing prayers and they're bringing poems. And that's something that I'm going to be doing as well. And that's, if I'm not mistaken, that's every night or every night at 8 o'clock. And it starts from the 14th and it goes until I forget the exact date, but the date is on there. The time just isn't. But it's going to be 8 o'clock every night. And you just hear some powerful prayers, some powerful poems. And I will be joining that one particular night on the 14th. And I'll be having my session and just sharing my poems and everything. And just bringing some enlightenment. So this is new, a new experience for me as well. So I'm excited about that as well. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Well, I'm grateful that you're sharing the wisdom from your soul with us. Now, you told a story that I think really touched people's heart the other day when you spoke about, and this is unfortunately a common experience, a moment in your life when you were feeling suicidal. And there are so many people who have reached that point. I mean, I myself, how old was I? I must have been like 12, maybe. You know, that age when the hormones are wacky and everything.
Yeah.
I think I was older because I was in high school. I think I was maybe like 14. But I had decided I was going to end my life. And I got a bottle of pills out of the medicine cabinet. You know, I'm figuring I'm going to, you know, just go to sleep and never wake up. And I wrote this dramatic suicide note and everything.
Mm.
And I'm just planning on not
Isn't it?
coming back.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
little did I know that this was a bottle of my father's Phenaments, which are to help you when you need a laxative. So I didn't die.
Gotta go back a little bit.
So after the worst had happened, a few bowel movements, but I did not die. So, and then by
Yeah.
that time, I reconsidered and thought, okay, well, I guess maybe things aren't so bad, so I'll try it again. But I think of what would have happened if my family
Mm.
had come downstairs, because I was in the basement of the house. If they had come down and found me lifeless,
Wow.
what
Yeah.
a trauma that would have been. And it would have destroyed the lives of everybody who knew me, because people
Mm.
don't realize they're loved, and they don't realize that taking your life
Yeah.
is just shattering to the
Yeah.
people who care about you.
Yeah.
But all of us have gone through an experience where we felt like our lives weren't worth continuing and may have considered ending it. So,
Yeah. And
what was
that's a
that?
very, very a deep uh, thought.
Yes.
It's important for us to not downplay what is going on in the mindset of others, right? And so I had two episodes. So the one when you talk about taking pills, I did that one time. I took a whole lot of pills that was in the medicine cabinet, and I had informed my brother. The paramedics ended up coming there. I ended up being in the hospital. They pumped my stomach, and the lady that pumped my stomach, she said, "What in the world did you take? What did you take?" It was almost like she never saw anything like that. And what I was told was the amount of medication that I had in my system, my organs should have shut down. It was just no way that I should have. And then after that, I ended up going into the psychiatric ward. They put me there. While I was there, lady told me, she was like, "You do not belong here." Right. And I was, it really gave me something to think about after that, and for the reasonings of, and it's like my life means something. And I had children. And just like you said, Naima, that is a horrible thing to even have to think about somebody coming and finding you dead, and not because of a cause that, you just had a heart attack, or you just, something, or just something that it wasn't due to somebody or yourself. And so we really need to understand that that's something important. And during these times, a lot of individuals, take their lives. And we really need to address that. And one day I will do a very intense discussion on suicide. People need to understand your life matters. You don't want to take your life because of somebody else. You don't want to take your life because it doesn't seem as though it's going the way you want it to go. Um, we just have to make sure that if nothing else, life matters, and that's very important. And I'm glad we were able to just even have a laugh, Naima, in regards to what you shared. Because many people need more of that. You need to laugh more. You need to understand your value and your worth. And that's something that I really spend a lot of time with, especially with women, talking with them so that they learn their value. You are valuable. It doesn't matter
Yes.
what anybody else think, feel, say, or do. You are valuable. And you need to know why you're valuable, and how to be able to distinguish your value and not
Absolutely.
allow anybody to take that away from you, not even yourself.
That's true.
Yeah.
And sometimes people have family that supports them and encourages them. Sometimes people have family that abuses them. And so you have to learn to depend on yourself. What is that song George Benson sings? I believe the children are the future, teach them well, and let them lead the way, show them all the beauty they possess inside, give them a sense of pride.
Okay, was that Whitney
Fear,
Houston?
you
Or he
know,
did
all of
that
these.
too?
Yes, I mean,
Okay.
sometimes I know somewhere in the song he said, I was searching for a hero. Uh, People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone to fulfill my needs, a lonely place to be. So I learned to depend on me.
Mm,
Those words always struck me because ultimately that's what all of us end up having to learn how to do is to depend on ourselves, because sometimes people don't give you the recognition, the encouragement, the emotional support that you need, especially when you go through something really horrific. We got a couple of comments here. Well, we've got Zelda from the Higher Learning Network saying, welcome, our SiSTAR of the microphone. Your wisdom is welcome and appreciated.
thank you. Thank you. This is an honor. And I appreciate the support. I appreciate the love, and yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
and of course,
But what as you were saying though, Naima, it's so very important. Um, and that's why discernment is so important. Everybody is not out to get you. We just have to learn how to stop wanting to be with the ones that's just really not caring, right?
that's the
Um,
thing.
and that's okay. And the reason why I say that's okay is because people don't have to like you. People don't have to want to be around you.
That's
It is your choice. But what we need to learn is that even when individuals don't want to be around us, I want to be around myself.
There you go.
And
I
then
want to be
I
around
want to allow myself in this big old world, to connect with those who love my presence, who
that's
would love to
important. That is
conversate with me,
important.
if it ain't but one, and
That's
that person exists.
that's true. And the reason why we get to that point of wanting to end it all is because somewhere we stop loving ourselves, we stop believing in our worth, and we start putting more importance on what other people thought. And
Mm,
and Zelda says here, she says, you are not alone. We never are, but because we grew up in such toxicity, we all felt
yes.
the low frequency. Yes, yes, we
Yes, and,
did.
and that is so, so important because
Yes.
yes, we do have toxic homes, and it's so sad nowadays because even the schools, some of the children go to school
Oh,
and the schools are so toxic, right? So friends don't know how to be friends because what happens if you in a toxic family, I'm in a toxic family, we all have some toxic families, and there might be that
mm,
one some individual who may not have the toxicity that we're dealing with, but then we want to look down at that person and think that they think they're better than us. Instead, they're the ones that we should cling to because there's something that they can give. Now we need to teach
absolutely.
how to identify that, right?
Yes.
How do I
Absolutely.
identify with, we can even go and talk about the story about the young woman and her children. When the children were provoked to go and
Oh,
and 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 beat them up. So
that's a serious situation. We got to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about what is the mindset that creates that kind of violence,
mm,
disregard. Something has happened in that home, in the homes of the children, all kinds of things that are reflecting to us that we need to make a change in our society. But we're going to take a close look at that. We'll be right back. We are introducing on the second and fourth Monday every month, Yu'NiYah E with Mercy Seat. We'll be right back after this quick break. You stick and stay, don't stray away. And if you want to make a comment, we'll certainly let you know. Uh, we're watching and we'll make sure to share it with everybody else. So we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair.
Hey family, this is Charles Humphrey of MCH Publishing, and I'm here with Ashada, and we at the Soulful Chicago Book what?
This is the Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair, slamming.
We getting down in Hyde Park. Just run it down, my sister. Just tell us, for the people, a little bit about what we're doing here today and why.
You know, this is the Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair, and this month is very important. I feel like we don't give it the type of recognition that it needs, but beyond that, I do all things literary, and we have so many ancestors that have taken a tradition of writing and done great things. Well, we have those of us that are carrying on that tradition, and nobody knows about them until now. So the Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair is allowing us to tell our stories according to ourselves for our own benefit, and it's just beautiful. I mean, she could have been here today if you wasn't here, but if you were, it's been amazing. People came in consistently, children, and we have children's authors, we have nonfiction authors, we have fiction authors. This is really good, and it's about taking our own power in our own hands and doing what we do on the literary tip, though.
Right.
I gotta work, but I can't help it. Everything going to school. Now I just about bring my African shit like this. Bring it back.
I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all. Race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms. And we are back. You're listening to and watching The Female Solution. Tonight we're introducing Mercy Seat with Yu'NiYah E. And she'll be joining us every second and fourth Monday right here on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, and wherever you are in the world, just adjust your time if you want to see us live. And if you miss a show, you can always catch us in the archives on the Female Solution Facebook page and YouTube channel. And of course, we always make sure that you are able to watch us or to find out where all of our shows are airing live on our website, thefemalesolution.com. So, of course, you get a chance to see all of the shows and where they're airing live on the Facebook pages of our hosts, as well as the Female Solution Facebook page and YouTube channel. And you can, if you miss a show, just tap the link and you will be able to see what you missed. So here is what we're going to be featuring every second and fourth Monday. We're going to be featuring a wonderful host that will give you an opportunity to hear some very powerful dialogue, especially when it comes to healing the hurt in our souls. And of course, this is right here on the Female Solution uh, website. You can go to www.thefemalesolution.com. And again, if you miss an episode, you got all the links to where you can go and see it and share it with those who you know will be helped by it. So we thank you so much for joining the team and being a part of the solution.
Okay.
So, you know, this is when I look at what is happening, especially with our children, and how frightening it is to see the insanity that is going on. And I don't know what to think when I see these levels of violence, when I see the disregard.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing all kinds of conversations on the internet about, well, these children need more beatings. Well, you know, they probably been beat. The reason why they're beating other children, that comes from some deep-seated anger, rage, frustration. What were your thoughts when you saw that whole story with that mother, her children getting beat up on the way home? I mean, I was bullied in grammar school. That was part of the trigger for the suicidal episode. But when you see people disregarding somebody's mother, what do you think of that behavior?
They went after mama. You know, back in the days, you know, all mama had to do was look. Even to the children that weren't hers, you could just look at you and there was a correction. You know, the word says, you know, that these times will come, that the children will, you know, they'll get wiser but weaker, and they're weaker to life. They're weaker to a whole lot of things, right? And so the one thing that we cannot downplay is the enemy is real, and do not think that he will not use children, right? People are mad, they're angry, and that's his whole hive, anger and hatred, and you know, all of the things that are against the Father. That's what he's about. And he will use children. He will come after children. He come after, you know, anybody. But you know, when I think of that, I think about what it is that the community is doing, because you have a lot of people doing a lot of things, right? And people wanting to help make a difference in children's lives. So there's a lot of positive things that are out there. But let's just think about it. If a program is 2 to 3 hours, then you got to think about how many more hours they're out of that environment. And even when they're in school, you know, what is it? I think they're in school, what, maybe 7, 8 hours? Within that time span, what is going on, you still have it where they can meet up in the playground, or they can meet up, you know, notes are being passed. Their focus is like off, you know. So that time that they have is not a whole lot of time for positive influence, right? We don't have a lot of positive influence. And then I can sit here and listen to you and your positivity, but when I go home, you're not knowing what I'm going home to. And that's the reason why it's very important not to be arguing around children. And then another thing, you know, parents, you have some parents, they have grown up in anger. So now you're spilling that over. And so you have a parent that is angry. You come, that parent will use profanity, and they're telling off the children, and oh, you can't tell me about my child, and they're ready to fight. They're ready. So a lot of that, I've seen that even with volunteering in schools. And when my children were coming up, I went to school with my children all the way up until they went to high school. I would go and
Mhm.
sit in the classes and see things. And I remember one time a parent came in and she knocked the dean out.
Ooh!
The dean.
Oh no!
How is that okay? With you out even asking questions, whatever your child say, that's golden. That is not a good thing to say. I know. I could my child be telling the truth? Could my child be lying? But if nothing else, I need to get down to the nitty gritty. I've heard you, child. Now I want to go to the adult, and I don't want to talk to them in front of you.
Yes, that's the big
Talking to them,
mistake
you know,
that
and,
we
and
make.
I hear a lot of
Yes,
children in the conversations.
yes, yes,
How do you have a one-on-one with an adult? We have an adult conversation. If we want to use the word adult, we're having an adult conversation, and the child comes, oh yeah, and you know what? And this should have happened. How do you come into the conversation and that's okay?
that's the thing. When you disrespect another adult in front of your child,
Yes,
you've taught that
yes,
child to disrespect adults. That's
yes,
where that behavior comes from. When you
yeah.
have a
And they also
household,
will
like you
tell
say,
you, oh, you're not my mama. Oh,
oh
I'll tell
yeah,
my mama.
absolutely.
My mama gonna get you. So
Hmm.
the child be able to have a mindset to be able to say, my mama gonna get you. So
Yeah,
there's a
and
whole lot of things being said.
knowing that their mother is going to come and disrespect this other adult.
Yes.
And this is exactly the children that were involved in that behavior. This is what they saw. And like you say, when you have a household and you got two adults and they screaming and cussing each other out and saying all kinds of private things in front of the children and
Yes.
denigrating each other, you have taught your children to disrespect other adults. They're
Yeah.
following your example. And then, like you
Yes.
say, they want to cuss out the teacher, and then the teacher wants to reprimand them and say, I get my mama on you. And they bring up their mother, and their mother, she's acting just ignorant, cussing them out. You have taught your children to disrespect adults.
Yes.
So this is where that comes from.
Yes.
So everybody who's saying, oh, well, they need more beatings. No, 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 no. They need to see more respect between adults because they're
Yes.
not seeing it in their life. They can't emulate what they don't see.
That's
So
right.
beating them down because you taught them ignorance is not going to make them suddenly have respect. You got
That's
to
right.
demonstrate what respect looks like, and that's what they
Exactly.
haven't seen.
Exactly. So if you're sitting here and not only are when you have your conversations, you're having your conversations, you use a profanity. When you're talking to them, you use a profanity. So if this is what they're hearing, then this is what they're going to portray. I always tell individuals you can pretty much 99% of the time can see what a household looks like by watching the child. And if you're discerning very well, you can kind of see a child is just trying to fit in, opposed to this is what because you have some children, they're gonna wear your mama and your daddy wouldn't accept what you're doing right now, right? And they kind of like back because they know, right? They just trying to fit in. But then you
Yeah.
have those children that you just know,
They ain't got no
mom,
standards.
dad, or mom and the boyfriend. You all
Yeah.
be getting down in the household.
The children raising themselves in terms of
And they're
trying to
ready.
find their
Yes,
way to adulthood because the adults never grew up mentally themselves. Well, we've got
it's something.
another one of our fabulous hosts chiming in, Deborah from Move Around with Deborah every Thursday.
Hey,
Saturday
girl.
morning. Welcome. Excited to hear from you and learn.
Hey,
Yes,
sis.
yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Thank you.
And I mean, this is what we need. We need some people with wisdom to help those who are making errors in raising children to understand it starts with you. Do not abuse that child because you misguided them.
Yes.
You have to now model the right behavior because what happens when you have adults in the household and they're acting out and ignorant and beating each other up and cussing each other out? At what point is the child supposed to learn what dignity and respect looks like? And Deborah said, Lord, Lord, yes, we have these dysfunctional families
But
exposing the children to everything and then sending them out to schools
Yeah.
What do we
And
expect?
some parents, they feel proud when their children can formulate, words, the profanity and saying certain things. Some parents really look at that and they're like, "Girl, did you hear them?" They laughing at it. And then the thing is, oh, they're just children.
Oh,
All right.
this is the one, the little 2-year-old that's just learned how to speak, and then they pronounce a cuss word. Oh, that's so cute. Say it again. Duh. I mean,
You're
what do you
entertaining.
do with people who just don't have any clue that they're misguiding a child? And
Well,
then
when the
they
word
want to get
says
mad
train
when
up a
that child.
child in the way he should go, that is not the way that he should go. That is not what should be done. And we shouldn't be proud parents, grandparents, great grandparents, being able to see our children do. You know, these types of things I will be talking about. Various things in regards to families and how we're supposed to react and how we're supposed to do. This is not about being parent of the year, grandparent of the year, by allowing your child or your children to just say and do anything, being disrespectful. There's a lot of things that has been lost. And a lot of times people are saying, "Oh, the old ways. We don't want to do things the old way." But a lot of the individuals, what they would call the old school training, if you have to look at how a child was with the old school way and look at it with the new school way, as they would say, there's no way in the world. If I was having children right now, there's no way in the world I would want to allow myself to look at things the way things are looked at now. Oh, well, this is a different era. Well, it was a different era when we was coming up. It was a different era when our parents was coming up. It was a different era. But whatever it is, the structure has been lost. We don't never lose the structure. When they build buildings, they still start with a foundation and they build on the foundation. We should never lose the foundation of what we're supposed to do when bringing and raising our children.
Yes. Well, one of the things that happened was the access to so much information. I mean, people walking around with, they can tune into anything.
Yeah.
And parents are not monitoring it. We're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, I want to take a look at what needs to change in terms of how we introduce things to our children. Should we try to censor what they see and hear, or should we debrief them because we know they've seen and heard everything? We're going to take a quick break and we'll be
yeah.
And
yes,
take a look at that. And do we need to make some different kinds of rules based on the new technology that's exposing our children to too much too soon? So we'll take a look at that. We'll be right back. We're going to greet our global family watching us all around the world. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom.
In Pakistan, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Join us live on the on-air radio network. Call 727-731-5192. We want to talk to you. Yes, we do want to talk to you, and we want you to talk to us too. And if you'd like to join us by phone, you can give us a call, 727-731-5192. We'll be right here to talk to you. And we want you to talk to Yu'NiYah E, who's going to be with us every second and fourth Monday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. And wherever you are in the world, adjust your times. You can join us live. But if you missed the live, you can go right to thefemalesolution.com and just tap that link, and you'll be able to see it on her Facebook page, our Facebook page, our YouTube channel. We want you to make sure you see the shows in the archive. We've got a couple of more comments here, and we're so excited to have our wonderful host chime in. And Deborah says, we will have to censor and debrief. Yes, that's something that we'll have to monitor. Our children are seeing and hearing everything. And you know, I've talked about this even before, how when you send your child to someone's home, you don't know what kind of movies they're watching. You don't know what's happening in the house with the parents. You don't know what other people's standards are all the time when your children visit people. And then you go to school and you don't know what they're hearing on the playground and in the classroom with other students. So how do you go about defining for your children what is appropriate and what's inappropriate when they say, oh, well, little Johnny does this or little Tracy does that, you know, and nobody, other parents don't uphold the standards that you're trying to set for your child. When I grew up in one of those households, like we were the only one doing certain things. Everybody else, and my mother would say, well, that's them, that's not us. We don't do that. But how do you go about setting a standard that maybe the general public isn't following, but you want your children to follow?
I think that we need to bring awareness to our children and allow them to understand the difference between. Why is that? Because you don't know, you're not with them 24/7. You don't know who and what they're exposed to. So when we're talking to them and we're allowing them that opportunity to understand, honey, this is what others may be doing, but this is why you should be doing this. Give them examples, give them things. My grandbabies and I, we sit down and we talk. They let me know things about what's going on in schools, and then I let them know why they should not be a part. And we have those discussions, and it's not to look down on anyone, but if nothing else, if I'm not able to be a protection for them, I can be one for you. But I just think that we should allow the things that are available. I think that we should let our children understand and not expose them. You know, back in the day, at some point in time or another, we all was curious. You know, you say about Curious George, you know, but if we want to break that curiosity, we want to inform them of why you shouldn't and you should or should not do certain things, right? Mm-hmm. And just because Johnny B does it doesn't mean you do it. Right. Johnny B mother may allow him to do that. Maybe she's not aware. We don't know what's going on that is allowing this to happen. But what we don't want is for you to do it. So I think that we should spend time with our children and explaining the pros and the cons of things.
Now, I remember, I think the first play that I saw that you did, I think it was called Baby Mama Drama.
Baby Mama Drama.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration for that? What did you see that made you decide, I'm going to put this on stage so we can see what this really looks like? Tell for the audience who didn't see it, tell them a little bit about some of the drama and how you address that.
So More Baby Mama Drama actually came from me writing a short skit, going into the high schools and talking to children and really wanting to inform them of not becoming baby mamas, as they will call it. And when I was sitting one day, I'm writing this script. I'm writing this just a little short skit. I ended up at my son's basketball practice, And I ended up taking that little skit and writing the More Baby Mama drama. And the purpose was that was to see why we shouldn't allow ourselves to be placed or categorized as a baby mama. I'm not just a baby mama, and what happens in relationships and how that comes about. And it was to bring it to a light for the men as far as, especially young generation, to bring it to the light of being able to say it's more to it. And you should care about the person that you're wanting to connect with and the person that you're ending up having a family with, and how when you don't do that, it becomes detrimental to the child, which is why we have so many children now who are in single parent homes, so many children now who are not understanding, that dad isn't here for that could be various reasons. One of the reasons could be because mom.
Yes. Yeah, that is one of the things that tends to happen when we have a situation where
Various reasons why, and that
yeah,
was for More Baby Mama drama to do, is to enlighten us in regards to what is causing this supposedly baby mama stuff and how we could avoid allowing that to be
yes,
taking a
yes.
different angle.
And
Yes.
I think theater is a way to really teach lessons because people, they laugh, but then they see themselves. And
Yes, I had a young man when I first did it. I did it in 2010. I did it again in 2016. But I had a young man come to me and he said, I really thank you for this, because I'm going home to my son and I'm having a whole different approach. It made him see things differently. And I'm looking forward to doing it again, because I think it's something, especially now, because we're having a lot of young women who are single parents and need to just learn how to make better decisions. And always, and for people to always understand, your choice don't just affect you, but it affect those who are around you, especially our children, right? And that was something I would never do. When I was in my marriage, in my second marriage, yes, I have been married a couple of times, and we're gonna talk about that too. Yeah. But anyway, in my second marriage, that was something I never did. I never argued in front of my children. My children never heard our discussion. If it was to that point where something was wrong, we're not going to discuss this in front of the children. So my children never saw me screaming at him or even seeing me being mad at him, because that was our thing. It wasn't a family thing. It was our thing. This is what we have to handle, right? And so, I'm not going to pour my bitterness. If I'm bitter, I'm not going to pour my anger. If I'm angry, I'm not going to pour those things over into my children. That's just not fair. So you sitting on the phone screaming and hollering at this man and calling him all out of his name and, this, that, and the other. That was your choice. What you screaming and hollering at it? You deal with your choice that you made,
that you made. You made that choice. Absolutely.
It's your choice. Right. If he ain't no good, that's your problem. That's your fault. That was your choice. Deal with it better.
Yes, yes. Absolutely. Take responsibility for the choice you made. We got to take one last break. And when we come back, I want to take a look at this whole thing of the way women portray the men in their lives to the children and how that's affecting the children. You mad at them and you want them to be mad at them, and you say all these nasty things. What is that doing to them?
That's it right there, Naima. Well, when we come back, we will close out on those words.
Absolutely. So we know we do this and we don't realize how it feels, because we want that child to hate this man that made us angry.
That's not their fault.
That man is half of who they are.
Yeah.
Yes. So we'll be right back after this quick break. So we want you all to stick and stay. Don't stray away. We're talking to Yu'NiYah E, who is joining us every second and Monday on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show right here at 7 p.m. You don't want to miss it. So we'll be right back. Stay with us.
What's up, guys? It's Asada, the host of the Gathering of the Griots podcast, part of the Female Solution. Want you to join us every Tuesday morning from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And guess what we do? We interview authors of the Soulful Chicago Book Fair. The books, the experiences, the lifestyles, all of it with fervor. So be there right on the Soulful Chicago Book Fair YouTube page or on the Female Solution Facebook page. We look forward to having you and all our literary essence. Peace.
Yeah, so we want to remind you all, come on back tomorrow morning. See Asada.
I love her energy. Yes. Yes. What you're saying right there, Naima, is so very, very important. Because what many women need to understand is if you had a dad or you didn't have a dad, right? So if you didn't have a dad in your life, what effect was that on you? And why would you? Because there are a lot of men, I'm telling you, I've had the opportunity of seeing it, knowing it, talking to young women and everything, that the father wanted to be in the child's life, but she did everything to take that away. So we don't want to be patting women on the back when you don't know the whole story. Don't pat them and feel sorry for them, because a lot of children don't have their dads in their lives because of the choices that the mother has made.
Yes.
Right? Jealousy because there's another woman. Oh, I don't want my child around another woman. But isn't it funny how you can have your child around another man? Just don't understand how that is. You can, and not just a man, but maybe several different men in your life that your child is exposed to. But this man has a woman in his life, but you don't want that child with them because he's there. Now, and so you can't just line it up that he's messy, because over here it could be messy too, right? And so it needs to be a thought for the children, not a thought for you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of decisions that's being made in regards to mothers is for their own selfish means. And then you're degrading this man. I'm telling you, Naima, I've heard it and seen it with my own eyes. How you're sitting here and you're dogging this man out. You're talking about him. You're degrading him. You're letting your children hear because you want to be considered super mom, and he's just dogmatic and he's no good because of your selfishness, not because of something that man has done. And yes, there are men, you know, that don't want to be in their children's lives. But there's also men who have said, I don't want children. So why would you even try to have a child? Because you just want to have, because you feel like you're going to hold.
And you want to hold on to the man, but he's already told you he's not trying to be a father.
He don't want to be.
And then you're mad because he's not the man that you want him to be, but he already told you he wasn't.
Right.
So what were you thinking?
He had to take responsibility for it too, but you should have been wise enough. If this man telling you I don't want to have no babies with you.
When people tell you who they are, believe them. It's very basic.
If they tell it to you, hold on to it. You understand? Ride your bike and take the papers and throw it at the people's doors. This man has made a broadcast. He has made it news. He has allowed himself to be an anchor to let you know this is not what he want to do. So why do you have a child by him? Now, for me, I don't take no sides, not a woman nor a man, right? Because everybody has to take responsibility for that. Because if you don't want to have children with this woman or any woman, you shouldn't be laying with
sex. Why are you having sex? I mean,
I'm just saying.
Really, I mean, if you go somewhere and be a monk. But look, this is the act that opens the door to a soul to come into physical existence. If you're not trying to be responsible for this soul coming into physical existence, do not engage in the act of creation, because you obviously don't know enough to not have it end up a pregnancy because you
Yeah.
know, how many baby mamas do you have? And you didn't want to be the daddy to any of them. So you need to not be having sex until you learn how to work it so that you're not procreating if you don't want to create. You know, don't blame the woman because you made the choice. They have to act. And so, I mean, like you say,
So at the end of the day, the child suffers. At the end, when it's all said and done, the child suffers. But what my whole point and with that is, do not belittle this man. That is still that child's dad. And the word says to honor thy father and mother all the days of your life. That is still that child's father. You understand what I'm saying? And I can speak, I never,
like you say, the argument that's between the adults. Why would you want to talk about, because you mad because he got another woman and you're going to talk about him and talk about her and say all these nasty things because you're jealous. And this man has done nothing bad to you. He just maybe got involved with someone else. And so now when you can't see your child now, or you're going to hold your child hostage when you got more money, like you hold them for ransom. You know, all that madness.
That is so
and the
sad.
child suffers because the child just wants to see their father. They're not trying to get in your business and why y'all broke up. They just want to see their father. And
it's not a conversation for you to have with your child. Just point blank. I will not discuss my relationship with my child.
Yes.
Why do we want to grow them up so fast? Why do we want to dump that responsibility on them? You understand? If the breakup is something that's going to be that is going to happen, for whatever that reason may be, at least this is another reason why I say how people always want, I've grown. You can't tell me nothing. I'm grown. Then act like an adult. An adult makes a rational decision. That decision is, we are not going to be together anymore. It is not for me to degrade you. It's not for you to degrade me. It is for us to just detach ourselves from what we have, which could be toxic, so it don't spill over to our children. You know what I'm saying? And then with the breakup, if that bothers that child, look, me and mom, or me and dad, we're deciding that we're going to break up, but that has nothing to do with you. What is going on with us has nothing to do with you. We still love you. We're still going to be co-parenting, and we're going to make it. Dad is going on, I'm going on. You choose to get into another relationship, then at least allow your child the respect of, this is what we're doing. It has nothing to do with you. But you do not sit there and tell you, oh, your dad, he a deadbeat, he ain't nothing, and all I want is a check, and that check be $5. But you just want it because you want to make sure he ain't taking care of somebody else. It's just really chaotic because you just were so concerned that somebody's going to get something you felt like you should. So it's interesting, but wow, we got to do better.
We have to do better because it's our immaturity that our children are seeing, and that's what makes them lose respect. That's what makes them lose respect for adult women and adult men, for adults, period, because we are not showing them adult behavior. And when they see all that petty bickering and tearing each other down, that's what makes them lose respect.
And they say they don't want, that's why they don't want to get married. They don't want to get married. You know,
they see what
they don't want
like.
to do
that's what marriage is. Oh, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I love my man. I love my woman. Marriage, oh no, because I saw what that looked like, and I don't want to be that. So we have to look at what we have shown them. And this is what they're showing us when we see them act out on the street, when we see them beating up adults, when we see them cussing out everybody. We have shown them that behavior. And we cannot blame anyone but us because we showed them how to mistreat and disrespect another human being.
Because they're a product of their environment.
Product of the environment.
Yeah, product of their environment. And can we say that we love our children and we expose them to anything and it's coming from us?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? The world itself that they have to deal with is one thing. They should never have to deal with it with you. That it should never come from home. In spite of it all, they should be able to say, I'm in a safe haven. You're right. They can say, well, if nothing else, my mom showed me what a woman looks like. My dad shows me what a man looks like. And then even though they are not able to be together, they still display positivity. They still they display love. And even if you choose not to be together,
Yeah.
you still
You can
said you
still-
love one another. I'd be trying to figure out how love just go out the door like that, But
Yeah.
even so, we can still love each other, even though we see that we can't be joined together anymore. I'm
Right.
still going to respect it. That is still not my baby mama, but that is still the mother of my child or the mother of my children. That is
Yeah.
still the father of my child, the father of my children. Now,
Yeah.
yes, there's a whole lot of other things that could be going on. He could be abusive or things of that nature. We do understand that. But at least let it be a common ground of something that is detrimental, that is preventing it, and not just because you don't want him you don't want him around because of his choices. What about
Right.
your choices?
What about your choices? Because it
Yeah.
always takes two. There's never a breakup where only one person is at fault. Because even if you marry somebody who's got a serious drinking problem or a drug problem, they showed you all those things ahead of time, and you chose to be with them anyway, knowing that they were broken inside and needed other kind of healing that you could not do.
That's
So
so
you still
true.
cannot blame them for the choice that you made. And so if you
Yeah,
realize they
that's
had
so
this
true.
issue when you met him, you thought, oh, but he didn't love me enough, he'll stop. Well, he didn't. Okay. So now if you're going to end the relationship, you still have to respect the children enough for them to know this has nothing to do with you. This is a situation we're not able to be together, but we're still going to love you.
That's right.
And we're still going to co-parent even and encourage that person if they do have a substance abuse problem, at least understand that that's a reaction that they're having to something inside of them. And
Yes.
don't take it personally when you feel like you have to punish them for that. Well, just because you did this and you can't see your children, or you went somewhere and you got another woman and now you straightened up, or you could do it for her but you couldn't do it for me. Still has nothing to do with you. You don't know what's going on in that person's life
Yes.
that made them, for whatever reason, now they can get themselves together. So
Yes.
you're going to be bitter because he got himself together and now he's with someone else. And so you're going to punish him. You don't want him to see his children. That's still,
It's
wow.
we have to learn how to take accountability.
Yes.
Take accountability. I'm not mad at you. I don't, my children's dad, I never belittled him or talked about him. Never. And they didn't until in their adult years even learned of what it was. And that's because I was sharing the testimony. Shared a testimony. And when I was sharing the testimony, they so happened to hear it. And they was like, well, Mom, it's like, look, what went on between me and him, that had nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And I still allowed him to be in their lives. And even though he ended up not being in their lives, he became to a point where he became on drugs and things of that nature. But they were taught to love their dad. That's your dad. I don't care what goes on. If your dad, you see him, he's hungry, you feed him. If you need clothes, you give him clothes. You do what the word tells you to do. You're not going to do what the world says. And it doesn't matter. His choices are his choices. And you have to respect that. But in the midst of it, that is still your dad. You pray for him, you hope, you understand. And it's just to the point he passed away. And when he passed away, his children were there and they did a darn good job for their dad. You understand? And I was very proud of how they handled things. And then they did not display bitterness, towards him. Yes, they wanted him in his life. And it takes my son to really share how, his experience and everything. And it brings a love to my heart, to hear him. And yes, he wanted it. And, some things, affects what, however, but you learn how to deal with it. And that's what we need to teach our children. A lot of times we try to hide things from our children as far as, things or tragedies that happen. Teach your child how to stand in the midst of a storm. And when you learn how to stand in the midst of the storm, they won't turn to drugs. They won't turn to suicide. They won't turn to certain things because they understand these are trials and tribulations in my life, and I'm going to count it all joy. I'm still going to stand. We want to try to hide them from them things. Don't hide it from them. Let them know. But
let them know so they know
how
how
to stand in it.
And that
I'm
and
sorry.
that is the most powerful thing we can do as parents. Teach them how to cope. Teach
Yes,
them not to blame themselves, but
that's
to
right.
understand the situation and learn how to accept people's mistakes, learn how to forgive, learn how to
Yes,
love. And
that's
then
so
they
important.
can approach adulthood with a whole heart and not a broken heart. That's the
Yes,
best thing we can give them. So, well, I am so grateful that you are joining us and you will be sharing this wisdom with us. So, December 22nd, Monday, December 22nd, make sure you tune right in right here. You're going to see Yu'NiYah E.
definitely.
We
Yes,
appreciate you so very much.
thank
Thank
you.
you. And we're looking forward to another fabulous show. So much wisdom, so much knowledge, so much inspiration. And
Yes.
we're going to have it right here on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show.
Thank you for the introduction today, Naima. Thank you for sharing in with this time. I am honored to be able to be the host of Mercy Seat and to be able to share with those who, choose to tune in and being able to share and helping to develop, that true love and compassion for what we need for one another. So I'm excited about it. Thank you again. And thank you for everybody that tuned in for today. Thank you.
Yes, we appreciate all of you. Thank you all for your comments. And we'll see you next time. Come on back tomorrow. Got to make sure you see Asada with, once again, she's coming with you with Gathering of the Griots. One of the exciting authors is going to be at the Soulful Chicago Book Fair. So tune on in 7 a.m. Central Time tomorrow. And until that time, we want you all to continue to shine your light. We will. And certainly, if you missed any parts, we want you to go to the archives at thefemalesolution.com. See you tomorrow. We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jareh. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.